2-cent coin was part of Australia's currency system before the country transitioned to a more simplified decimal system in 1966. Australia's decimal currency replaced the British imperial system, which had been in place for more than 100 years. In 1966, Australia adopted a decimal currency system with coins in values of 1 cent, 2 cents, 5 cents, 10 cents, 20 cents, 50 cents, and larger denominations such as the $1 and $2 coins. The 2-cent coin, along with the 1-cent coin, was part of the country's currency for several decades. The 1973 2-cent coin is part of this period of transition, and it was minted during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. Australia had a long-standing relationship with the British monarchy, and the image of Queen Elizabeth II, as well as her royal symbols, were prominently featured on many of Australia's coins at the time. The 1973 Elizabeth II 2-cent coin features two primary elements on its design. Obverse. The obverse, front, of the coin displays a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. The effigy was designed by sculptor Arnold Machin. This portrait features a youthful Queen Elizabeth II with a coronet of laurels, facing right. The inscription on the obverse reads, Elizabeth II Australia. Reverse. The reverse, back, of the coin features a design by Bruce Armstrong, which depicts an Australian frill-necked lizard, Chlamydosaurus kingii. The frill-necked lizard is a distinctive species native to northern Australia, and it represents Australia's unique wildlife. The reverse also includes the denomination of 2 cents and the year of minting, 1973. Circulation. The 2-cent coin was circulated widely in Australia during the 1970s and early 1980s. It was used in everyday transactions for a variety of small purchases, from newspapers to candy. At the time, inflation was a factor that affected the value of small coins like the 2 cent, but they were still very much in use during the period. Uncirculated coins. An uncirculated coin is one that has not been used in circulation and retains its original, pristine condition. These coins are typically kept in special packaging or held by collectors. Coins in uncirculated condition may command higher prices in the market due to their superior condition compared to circulated coins. In 1973, a number of uncirculated 2-cent coins were likely produced and sold as part of proof or mint sets, which were packaged in protective capsules to preserve their condition. Coin withdrawal. In 1992, the 2-cent coin, along with the 1-cent coin, was officially withdrawn from circulation by the Reserve Bank of Australia due to inflation. It became increasingly impractical for such small denominations to be used in daily transactions, and it was no longer necessary for consumers to handle such small amounts of currency. Mint mark. The 1973 2-cent coin does not feature a mint mark, meaning it was produced at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra, Australia. Coins produced in Australia typically did not have mint marks unless they were made at a particular facility, e.g., the Melbourne Mint. However, during the time the 2-cent coin was in circulation, the Royal Australian Mint was the main minting facility. Mintage numbers. The 1973 2-cent coin had a mintage of 63,950,000 coins. This was a large mintage figure, indicating that it was a standard issue for circulation during that year. However, due to the later withdrawal of the coin from circulation, fewer of these coins remain in good condition or uncirculated. Proof coins. Proof coins are specially made for collectors, with higher levels of detail and a reflective finish. They are produced using special dies, and the coins are struck multiple times to ensure that every detail is perfect. The 1973 2-cent coin was included in some proof sets, issued by the Royal Australian Mint during that period. These proof sets are highly prized by collectors, as they are in pristine, uncirculated condition. The value of a 1973 2-cent coin depends largely on its condition and whether it is circulated or uncirculated. Here's a breakdown of possible values. Circulated coins. A typical circulated 1973 2-cent coin is relatively low in value, usually ranging between 10 cents and 0.50 Australian dollars depending on the condition. Circulated coins that show significant wear or discoloration may be on the lower end of the scale. Uncirculated coins. A coin in uncirculated condition, often kept in protective packaging, may be valued at around $1 to $5 or more, depending on market demand and the quality of the coin. Proof coins. If you have a proof 1973 2-cent coin in pristine condition, it can be valued higher, with prices ranging anywhere from $5 to $15 depending on the rarity and the condition of the proof set it came in. These coins were produced in limited numbers, and they are more sought after by collectors. Although the 2-cent coin was withdrawn from circulation in 1992, it remains a part of Australian numismatic history. Due to its withdrawal, most 2-cent coins have not been saved in high quantities by the general population. As a result, they are considered more valuable in uncirculated or proof condition than in circulated form. Collectors of Australian coins often seek out these pieces, especially those from the 1970s, as they represent an important period in Australia's monetary history. Additionally, since they were withdrawn from circulation, the supply of the coins has become limited over time, further contributing to their collectability. The 1973 Elizabeth II 2-cent coin is a small but interesting piece of Australian numismatic history. Its design, featuring the frill-necked lizard, makes it particularly unique. Despite being withdrawn from circulation, it remains an important symbol of Australia's monetary evolution. Evolution and a prized coin for collectors in uncirculated or proof condition. Although the coin's value in circulation was relatively modest, its collectability has grown over time, especially for those interested in Australian history and coinage. The next step, Elizabeth II 2-cent coin from Australia, minted in 1989, is part of a series of decimal coins that were introduced in Australia in 1966, following the country's shift from the British imperial system to the metric system. The 2-cent coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, a design that has appeared on Australian currency since her ascension to the throne in 1952. 2-cent coin was introduced in 1966, along with other coins in the decimal system, replacing the pre-decimal system of shillings, pennies, etc. Design. The obverse, front, of the coin features a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Arnold Machin, while the reverse, back, features an Australian floral emblem, the prickly Moses wattle, Acacia verticillata. Withdrawal. In 1992, the Australian government announced the discontinuation of the 1-cent and 2-cent coins due to their low purchasing power and high production costs. The coins were gradually removed from circulation, but they remain legal tender. Mint locations. Coins from this series, including the 2-cent coin, were produced at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra and the Perth Mint in Western Australia. Circulation. The 2-cent coin was widely used in Australia until its withdrawal from general circulation in 1992. It remained in use for a number of years before being gradually removed and replaced by other coins in the Australian currency system. Circulated condition. Coins that have been in circulation generally show signs of wear, such as scratches and fading. The value of a circulated 1989 2-cent coin is typically low, often a few cents or less. Uncirculated condition. Coins that have not been circulated, meaning they have no signs of wear, can fetch higher values. An uncirculated 1989 2-cent coin might be worth a few dollars, depending on its quality and demand. Proof coins. Proof coins are specially minted for collectors, with higher quality finishes and often struck multiple times to create a sharp and clean design. A 1989 proof 2-cent coin may be valued significantly higher, especially if it's part of a limited edition set. Mint marks for the 1989 2-cent coin. The Royal Australian Mint, RAM, usually does not place a mint mark on regular circulating coins, but in some years and for specific issues, they may mark them with the P mint mark, indicating coins minted at the Perth Mint. In 1989, the 2-cent coin would likely have been produced without a mint mark, but collectors should verify specific coins for any irregularities. The mintage for the 1989 2-cent coin was relatively high because it was still in circulation during that time. The mintage figure for this coin was approximate 299.1 million, making it a fairly common coin. In circulation, if you have a 1989 2-cent coin in circulation condition, it is generally worth just its face value, 2 cents. Uncirculated condition. If in mint or uncirculated condition, the coin could be worth between $1 to $2 AUD. Proof condition. Proof versions of the coin, especially if certified, can fetch $5 to $10 Australian dollars or more, depending on the specific set or collector demand. Design. The coin features a representation of the wattle, acacia, a floral symbol associated with Australia. Diameter and weight. The 2-cent coin weighs 5.65 grams and has a 20.5 millimeters diameter. Material. The coin is made from bronze, 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin. While the 2-cent coin is not rare, it can hold sentimental value for collectors, particularly those interested in Australian decimal currency or those with specific interest in the coins from the late 1980s. Given its low purchasing power and discontinuation, most of these coins are primarily of interest to numismatists or collectors who are building sets of decimal Australian coins. I hope this provides a comprehensive overview of the 1989 2-cent coin from Australia. If you need any further details, feel free to ask. The Elizabeth II 2-cent coin from 1969 is an important part of Australia's numismatic history. Below is the detailed information about its history, circulation, and various aspects. The 2-cent coin was part of Australia's decimal currency system, which replaced the pre-decimal currency on February 14, 1966. The coins were introduced after the Australian Currency, Decimal, Act 1965. The 2-cent coin, featuring Queen Elizabeth II on one side, was minted and used as a low-denomination coin. In 1969, Australia was in the middle of transitioning to decimal currency. This particular coin has Elizabeth II portrait on the obverse, front, and an Australian wattle flower design on the reverse, back, representing Australia's national identity and flora. Obverse, front. The coin features a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick, with a small change to the portrait throughout the years. Reverse, back. The reverse features a design of the Australian wattle flower, with the value, 2 cents, and the year, 1969, inscribed. The wattle is a symbolic representation of Australia, and this design was commonly used across the various denominations of Australian coins during this era. Mint mark. Coins from 1969 were primarily minted at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. However, some were minted in the Royal Mint in London or the Melbourne Mint, now closed, which may result in slight variations in the coin's characteristics. C. For Canberra, the Royal Australian Mint. S. For the Sydney Mint, though not commonly seen for this year. Some coins may lack a mint mark, indicating they were minted in London. Mintage. The mintage for the 2-cent coin in 1969 was approximately 174,300,000 coins, making it one of the higher minted years in the series. The 2-cent coin was used widely in daily transactions in Australia from 1966 until it was withdrawn in 1992 as part of a currency consolidation, when Australia rounded prices to the nearest 5 cents. Circulation. The coin was primarily used in small purchases, although it saw reduced use over time as inflation and the rounding policy in the early 1990s led to its gradual phase-out. Uncirculated condition. Coins that were not in circulation or that were kept in mint condition from the time of their release are considered uncirculated. These coins often have higher value than those that have been circulated and are typically collected by numismatists. Proof coins. These were specially minted for collectors. A proof coin has a mirror-like, highly polished finish and is often struck multiple times to ensure a clean, detailed image. Proof versions of the 1969 2-cent coin were minted in very limited numbers and typically command a higher price on the market. The value of a 1969 Australian 2-cent coin depends on its condition, rarity, and whether it's in proof or uncirculated form. In circulated condition, these coins are relatively common and can be found for $1 to $2 Australian dollars. In uncirculated condition, a 1969 2-cent coin in uncirculated condition might range from $2 to $10 Australian dollars, depending on its grade and whether it was stored in a protective casing. Proof condition. Proof versions of the coin can fetch a higher price, potentially between $10 and $30 or more, depending on demand and market conditions. Mint script. The script on the coin generally refers to the way the inscriptions are presented. For the 1969 2-cent coin, the words Australia, 2 cents, and the year 1969 are all inscribed in a clean, straightforward font with a classic look typical of mid-20th century Australian currency. Other mint features. As mentioned earlier, the Royal Australian Mint struck these coins, and they have characteristic details such as an impression of the wattle design and a deep relief for each coin struck. The 2-cent coin was withdrawn from circulation by 1992, as part of a move by the Australian government to streamline the currency system due to inflation and increased costs of production. Since the withdrawal of the 2-cent coin, the value of uncirculated coins or proof versions has increased, as they are considered historical items. The wattle featured on the reverse side of the coin is an important Australian symbol, representing the national identity. The golden wattle, Acacia pycnantha, is Australia's national floral emblem. The 2-cent coin's design highlights Australian flora, a unique aspect of Australian coins, which often focus on the nation's natural environment and heritage. The 1969 Elizabeth II 2-cent coin holds historical value, both as part of Australia's decimal currency system and due to its unique design and limited circulation period. For collectors, finding these coins in proof or uncirculated condition can be particularly valuable. However, the general circulated version remains fairly common in everyday collections. The second last step Elizabeth II Australia 2-cent coin from 1966 holds a notable place in Australian numismatic history. Here is a comprehensive breakdown of the coin's history, geography, mintage, value, and more. Monarch on the coin. The coin features a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, as she was the reigning monarch of the United Kingdom and Australia at the time. Her portrait was used from 1953 onwards on all Australian coins. Introduction of decimal currency. The 2-cent coin was issued as part of Australia's transition from the imperial system to the decimal system of currency. The country officially adopted the decimal system on February 14, 1966. Design. The reverse side of the coin features an image of an Australian echidna, designed by Stuart Devlin, who also designed several other coins in the decimal series. Minting location. The 2-cent coins were minted by the Royal Australian Mint, located in Canberra, which was established in 1965 specifically for the production of Australia's decimal currency. Currency distribution. The 2-cent coin was in circulation across Australia, used primarily for small transactions and to make up the lower denominations in change. Mintage and circulation. The 2-cent coin was issued in 1966 and continued in circulation until 1991, when it was withdrawn due to inflation and a reduced need for lower denominations. The coin was used alongside other denominations such as the 1 cent, 5 cent, 10 cent, 20 cent, and 50-cent coins. In 1991, both the 1 cent and 2 cent coins were demonetized by the Australian government due to their decreasing purchasing power. The total mintage of the 1966 2-cent coin was approximately 81.5 million coins. The mint marks are often found on Australian coins and can provide insight into the specific mint where the coin was produced. The 1966 2-cent coin may not carry a mint mark, as it was minted primarily at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. Coins that were in regular circulation are often worn and show signs of use such as scratches and fading. Uncirculated coins, on the other hand, have no wear and retain their original appearance. Proof coins are specially struck coins with a higher quality finish. These were made in limited numbers for collectors and were not released into general circulation. Circulated coins. A 1966 2-cent coin in circulated condition will have a relatively low value due to its abundant mintage. However, its worth is largely determined by factors such as rarity, condition, and market demand. In circulated condition, the coin's value may range from 5 cents to $1 AUD. Coins in uncirculated or mint state condition can be significantly more valuable. These coins could fetch values anywhere from $2 to $5 or higher, depending on the demand among collectors. Proof versions of the 1966 2-cent coin, which were struck specifically for collectors, could be worth considerably more, with prices ranging from $10 to $20 or higher depending on their quality and rarity in the market. The 1966 2-cent coin typically does not have a mint mark. This was common for coins minted at the Royal Australian Mint in 1966, as the mint mark was not a regular feature at that time. Condition. The condition of the coin, circulated versus uncirculated, proof, is a significant factor in determining its value. A coin that shows minimal wear will generally be worth more than one that has been in heavy circulation. Rarity. While the 1966 2-cent coin has a relatively high mintage, factors like low demand or particular market interest in this coin at a given time can influence its value. Demand. Coins with Queen Elizabeth II's portrait, especially those from the 1960s, are of interest to many collectors, which can sometimes increase demand and raise the value. As part of Australia's 1991 currency reforms, the 1-cent and 2-cent coins were officially withdrawn from circulation. They were demonetized, meaning they are no longer in use for everyday transactions, though they remain legal tender. The 1966 Elizabeth II Australia 2-cent coin is a historically significant piece due to its role in the country's shift to decimal currency. While it may not be particularly valuable in a circulated state, it holds importance for collectors interested in Australian numismatic history. Uncirculated or proof versions of the coin can carry more substantial value depending on the condition and collector demand. If you have a specific mint mark or a coin in a particular condition, e.g., uncirculated or proof, the value could fluctuate accordingly. Always consider the specific condition and current market trends when appraising the value of such coins. The last step Elizabeth II Australia 2-cent coin from 1974 is a notable piece in Australian numismatics. Here is a detailed overview of its history, geography, circulation, condition, proof value, mint marks, mintage, and more. The 2-cent coin is part of the decimal currency system introduced in Australia in 1966, replacing the pre-decimal pound system. The coin featured the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, front, and various designs for the reverse, back, were used throughout the years. The 1974 coin features the standard design with Queen Elizabeth II by Arnold Machin on the obverse. The reverse of the 2-cent coin for this period depicted an Australian koala sitting on a branch, designed by Margaret Flockton. The minting of Australian coins has taken place in different locations over time. Specifically, for 1974, the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra was the primary mint for these coins. Coins were also minted in London by the Royal Mint during certain periods, especially for earlier years of decimal coinage. The 2-cent coin was a part of the standard Australian circulation, meant to be used as small change, primarily for domestic circulation. The 2-cent coin was produced in large numbers and circulated extensively, especially in the 1970s and early 1980s. In circulated condition, these coins are still relatively common and are not typically valued higher than their face value unless in exceptional condition. Uncirculated condition, where the coin shows no signs of wear or handling, is much rarer and can carry a premium, though it may still be worth only a few dollars depending on the condition and demand. Minted in 1974, it would be common to find coins with wear and tear due to regular use, but uncirculated examples might fetch a higher value among collectors. Proof coins are specially struck with polished dies and a mirror-like finish, usually reserved for collectors. For the 1974 2-cent coin, proof examples are rare and are typically sold in limited numbers in sets. The value of a proof 2-cent coin from 1974 can vary, but generally, proof versions of coins from the 1970s are worth more than their circulation counterparts, especially if they remain in pristine condition. The proof version may range in value depending on market demand, but typically, it could be worth around $10 to $20 AUD or more depending on the condition and demand in the market. Mint mark. The 1974 2-cent coins do not have a distinct mint mark for most coins produced in Australia. However, collectors can sometimes find subtle differences indicating where the coin was struck, like S for San Francisco or C for Canberra. The majority of the 1974 2-cent coins were struck in Canberra. The 2-cent coin was minted in huge numbers during the early 1970s. The total mintage for the 1974 2-cent coin was estimated to be over 100 million. This large mintage means these coins are relatively easy to find, even in circulated condition. The 1974 mintage was one of the higher mintages in the series, ensuring that many of these coins were in regular circulation, thus lowering their scarcity and, in turn, their market value in circulated condition. In circulated condition, the coin in worn, everyday used condition typically holds its face value or a small premium, usually between 10 to 50 cents AUD for circulated examples. Uncirculated condition, a coin in excellent condition with no signs of wear might fetch slightly more, sometimes around $1 to $5 AUD, depending on demand. Proof coins, as mentioned, proof coins from 1974, if you find one, can be worth anywhere from $10 to $20 AUD, or more for collectors in excellent condition or part of special sets. This part of your query may refer to a specific pattern, marking, or mint script detail in the coins. However, in most cases, Australian decimal coins from the 1970s do not have mint scripts in the traditional sense unless they are proof coins or special editions. The Elizabeth II Australia 2-cent coin from 1974 is a common circulation coin, especially with a mintage over 100 million. It holds minimal value in circulated condition, with slightly higher values for uncirculated examples. Proof coins or special editions of this coin may have a higher value for collectors. The 2-pence coin, with Queen Elizabeth II's portrait, has been part of the UK's decimal coinage system since the currency reform of 1971, which replaced the old system of pounds, shillings, and pence. Obverse design, Queen's portrait. The obverse, front, of the 2-pence coin features a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, created by sculptor Ian Rank-Broadley. This particular design was introduced in 1998 and was used on UK coins from 1998 to 2015. However, the 1997 version, which uses a similar earlier design by Mary Gillick, is slightly different. Reverse design, value and design. The reverse side of the 2-pence coin has the iconic image of 2 sprigs of laurel and the value, 2, over a stylized shape of the coin. The 2-pence denomination was used from the beginning of the decimalization process in 1971. Mint, the UK coins, including the 2-pence coin, have been produced at various Royal Mint facilities, mainly in Wales. The Royal Mint's headquarters are in Llantrisant, Wales, where most British coinage is made. The 2-pence coin from 1997 is part of the everyday currency circulation of the UK. The 2p coin is still legal tender and widely used in transactions, although it's considered to have little purchasing power due to inflation. Total circulation, in terms of minting, the 1997 2p coin had a significant mintage year with millions of these coins produced and placed into circulation. Uncirculated, in uncirculated condition, the coin has never been used in commerce and retains all of its original detail. These coins can be found in rolls or special sets, and their condition is immaculate, with no wear, scratches, or blemishes. Proof condition, a proof coin, by contrast, is specially made for collectors. It is struck multiple times with a highly polished die to create a mirror-like finish. The 1997 2p proof coin would have been released as part of specific proof sets by the Royal Mint, and it's considered a premium item for collectors. Circulated coins. The face value of the coin is 2 pence, which is a relatively low value, and thus it doesn't carry much extra value in circulation. In most cases, a typical 1997 2p coin in circulation is worth about 2 pence. Uncirculated coins. The value of an uncirculated 1997 2p coin can vary depending on demand but generally ranges from £1 to £3 depending on the quality and the collector's market. Proof coins. Proof versions of the 1997 2p coin typically range in value, with prices starting from £5 to £10, and can go higher if they are part of a special collector's set or if the condition is exceptional. The mint script refers to the inscription on the coin, which includes the year, 1997, and 2 pence on the reverse. The design may have slight variations depending on the coin's production run. There are also small differences in some of the inscriptions and the portrait style of the Queen across different years, but these are typically subtle. While the 2p coin isn't usually the most sought-after coin in the UK, certain years, such as 1997, might be more desirable to collectors depending on the mintage numbers, whether it is proof or uncirculated, and its overall rarity. The Elizabeth II 2 pence coin of 1997 is a significant part of the UK's decimal coinage history. It's common in circulation but can be of value to collectors in uncirculated or proof condition. The coin's value varies, but for the average collector, it is not typically considered to be highly valuable unless in pristine condition or part of a rare set. The 2 pence coin issued in 1994 is part of the decimal currency system introduced by the United Kingdom in 1971. Prior to this, the British used the old system of pounds, shillings, and pence, where there were 240 pennies in a pound. The switch to decimalisation simplified the system, with 100 new pence in a pound. The 2 pence coin, also referred to as a 2 pence piece or 2 pence coin, has featured Queen Elizabeth II effigy since her ascension to the throne in 1952. The coin has undergone minor design changes over the years, but the 1994 issue falls under the category of the standard design during the 1990s, which was in circulation for several decades. The design of the coin is significant in both its symbolic representation of British identity and in its technical aspects. The obverse, front, of the coin features an effigy of Queen Elizabeth II by artist Rank-Broadley. This design became the standard portrait used on most British coins during her reign. On the reverse side of the coin, the 2 pence coin features a rose, leek, thistle, and shamrock. These symbols represent the 4 nations of the United Kingdom: England, rose; Wales, leek; Scotland, thistle; and Northern Ireland, shamrock. This design was introduced in 1992 as part of a series of coins to reflect the UK's 4 nations, symbolizing unity in diversity. The 2 pence coin is used throughout the United Kingdom and its territories, including England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. Additionally, the coin was also in circulation in British overseas territories and Crown dependencies, such as the Isle of Man, Jersey, Guernsey, and Falkland Islands, though some of these territories have issued their own currency versions with differing designs. However, over time, the 2 pence coin has become less commonly used in daily transactions due to inflation and the rising cost of living, with smaller denominations becoming less practical. Despite this, it is still in circulation, although in limited quantities. The 2 pence coin was produced by the Royal Mint in large quantities in 1994, and it circulated widely throughout the UK as part of the broader change in currency denominations post-decimalisation. The coin has been widely circulated in the UK, though it has been largely replaced by higher denominations for regular daily use. Many people choose to keep 2 pence coins in their change jars or discard them due to their low value. In 1994, the Royal Mint produced millions of these coins, and as a result, they were readily available in general circulation throughout the United Kingdom. These coins were used in everyday transactions for purchases such as sweets, newspapers, and bus fares. Coins that have never been used in circulation or have remained in excellent condition are considered uncirculated. A 1994 2 pence coin in uncirculated condition will have no wear marks, scratches, or tarnishing. These coins are often kept by collectors due to their pristine state. Uncirculated coins, particularly from specific years or with unique characteristics, may have higher value than their face value. An uncirculated 1994 2 pence coin typically holds a higher value than one that has been used extensively in circulation. The precise value can vary based on market demand, the coin's condition, and other factors in the numismatic market. As of recent reports, an uncirculated 2p coin might be valued anywhere between 50p to £2 or more, depending on its condition and rarity in the marketplace. Collectors of British coins might seek out a 1994 2p coin in uncirculated condition to add to their collection, especially if they are focused on the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. The appeal lies in the rarity of coins in perfect condition, as most coins, over time, experience wear and tear during circulation. A proof coin is a specially minted coin, usually produced in limited numbers, designed primarily for collectors. These coins are struck multiple times with specially polished dies to achieve a mirror-like finish, making them far more detailed and aesthetically pleasing than regular circulating coins. For the 1994 2p coin, proof versions would have been produced by the Royal Mint and sold as part of special coin sets or collections. Proof versions of these coins are highly prized by collectors, particularly if they come in original packaging with certificates of authenticity. Proof coins generally fetch much higher prices than their circulating counterparts due to their rarity and the care taken in their production. A proof 1994 2p coin could be valued significantly higher, with prices potentially ranging from £10 to £50 or more, depending on the rarity, condition, and specific collector demand at the time of sale. The 1994 2p coin was produced in large quantities for general circulation, which means that it is not especially rare. According to the Royal Mint's records, the mintage of the 1994 2p coin was in the tens of millions, making it relatively easy to find in circulated condition. However, coins that are kept in uncirculated or proof condition may still hold a degree of rarity due to their preservation status. It is worth noting that certain years of British coins can be rarer than others depending on production numbers, and the popularity of certain coin designs among collectors. Although 1994 is not considered a rare year for the 2p coin, uncirculated and proof versions are still valued by numismatists. The 1994 2p coin is a piece of British currency with historical, cultural, and numismatic significance. While it is not particularly rare in terms of mintage, its value can vary depending on its condition. Uncirculated or proof versions of the coin are sought after by collectors, who are often willing to pay a premium for these in pristine condition. Its design, featuring national symbols of the United Kingdom, links it to the identity and heritage of the British Isles. As such, it continues to be a notable coin in the world of numismatics, appreciated not only for its monetary value but also for its historical and cultural importance. Collectors interested in acquiring a 1994 2p coin should focus on the condition of the coin, the market demand, and whether the coin is part of a larger collection of coins from this period or a specific series of coins produced during Queen Elizabeth II's reign. The 2p coin, 2p, is part of the decimal currency system of the United Kingdom, which was introduced on February 15, 1971. Before this shift, Britain used a pre-decimal system, with the pound subdivided into 20 shillings, and each shilling divided into 12 pennies, making the total number of pennies in a 240 pound. This was known as the pound SD system. With the advent of decimalization, the pound was divided into 100 new pence, 1 pound equals 100 new pence. As part of this change, new coins were introduced, and the 2p coin was one of them. It was first released in 1971 to circulate alongside the 1p and 5p coins. The obverse of the coin features a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by the artist Mary Gillick. It was based on a sculptural design of the Queen's likeness and was used for the coins from 1953 until 1984. The inscription reads, Elizabeth II de Gra Regina Fid Def, meaning, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. The reverse features a design by Christopher Ironside, showing the Royal Shield of Arms. The shield features a lion, for England, a harp, for Ireland, a lion rampant, for Scotland, and a rose, for England. Surrounding the central shield is a scroll that reads, 2p. The coin also bears the date of issue, 1971. The coin has a diameter of 25.9 millimeters and weighs 7.12 grams. It is made of bronze, a copper alloy that was commonly used for British coinage before the introduction of more modern materials in the later 20th century. When the 2p coin was first issued, it was intended for use throughout the United Kingdom, England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, as well as the Crown dependencies like the Isle of Man and the Channel Islands, where it was also circulated. The coin was circulated widely and played an essential role in the transition to the decimal system, appearing regularly in everyday transactions for decades. The coin was introduced during the initial stages of decimalization. Prior to decimalization, the pre-decimal system used pounds, shillings, and pence, 240 pennies to a pound. With the introduction of the decimal system, coins were made to represent 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, and 50 pence. As part of this, the 2p coin became crucial in helping people adjust to the new system and made everyday transactions easier. The first year of circulation for the 2p coin was 1971. It was produced in large quantities as part of the new currency system. The Royal Mint manufactured the coin and ensured that it was widely available for public use. Over the years, the 2p coin continued to be produced in large numbers. However, as inflation grew, the purchasing power of small coins like the 2p began to decrease. This led to a reduced usage in daily life, but it remained in circulation for several decades. Although the 2p coin is primarily used in circulation, there have been occasional special editions produced, including coins commemorating events, anniversaries, or other national milestones. These coins were often minted in limited quantities and sometimes came in proof or uncirculated condition for collectors. The vast majority of 2p coins in circulation today are in circulated condition, meaning they have been used in daily transactions. They will show signs of wear and tear, including scratches, discoloration, and other markings. Circulated coins from the 1970s and 1980s are still commonly found in circulation but may show varying levels of wear, especially on the edges or design details. Coins in uncirculated condition have not been used in circulation. They have been stored carefully and are typically free from scratches or other visible signs of use. Uncirculated coins from the 1971 release or earlier are highly sought after by collectors. They retain much of their original luster and detail, and thus hold a greater value than their circulated counterparts. Proof coins are specially made for collectors and are struck with high precision to create a mirror-like finish on the surface of the coin. Proof coins of the 1971 2p coin are even rarer and often come in limited editions, housed in special packaging to preserve their condition. These coins are often more expensive than both circulated and uncirculated versions due to their rarity and minting process. The 2p coin is still in active circulation, so its face value remains 2 pence. However, as of now, the 2p coin has lost much of its practical use in everyday transactions because inflation has significantly reduced its purchasing power. The value of a 1971 2p coin can rise significantly if it is in uncirculated or proof condition. Uncirculated 1971 2p coins may be worth several pounds, often ranging from £2 to £5 depending on demand. Proof versions of the 1971 2p can be worth considerably more, potentially ranging from £10 to £50 or more, depending on the rarity and condition. Proof coins from the early years of decimalization, especially in high-grade conditions, are coveted by collectors. As the years went on, many people argued that the 2p coin was too small in value and physically too large compared to newer coins. This led to discussions about its removal from circulation. In 1983, the Royal Mint began considering the possibility of removing coins like the 1p and 2p from circulation due to their low value. However, it remained in circulation for several more decades. There have been some ongoing debates in the UK about whether to abolish the 1p and 2p coins because of their diminishing value and the cost of production. Some people believe they are no longer necessary, while others argue that they hold sentimental or nostalgic value. Despite being small in value, the 2p coin continues to be part of British currency today and is still produced by the Royal Mint. However, it faces diminishing use in everyday transactions due to inflation and the rise of digital payment methods. In conclusion, the Elizabeth II 2-pence coin from 1971 holds historical significance as part of the UK's decimalisation process. While it may no longer be widely used in daily transactions, it remains a valuable collector's item in uncirculated and proof conditions. The coin has witnessed numerous economic changes, and its legacy continues to be a part of British numismatic history. The Elizabeth II 2-pence coin from 1996 is part of a series of coins that were minted under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. Below, I will cover the history, circulation, and value details. Queen Elizabeth II began her reign in 1952, and since then, her portrait has appeared on numerous UK coins, including the 2-pence piece. The 2-pence coin has been in circulation in the UK since 1971, following the decimalisation of the British currency. Before decimalisation, the equivalent was the 2 old pence coin. The 1996 2-pence coin features the second effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by sculptor Rank-Broadley. This effigy, introduced in 1998, replaced the previous effigy by Mary Gillick, which had been in use since 1953. The reverse of the coin features a stylized image of a portcullis, a design introduced by Christopher Ironside in 1982, symbolizing the British Parliament. The 1996 2-pence coin was minted in copper-plated steel. It was produced in large numbers for circulation, and during this period, the British Treasury was still producing 2-pence coins for regular use. The mintage figures for 1996, specifically, are as follows. 1996 circulation mintage, over 350 million coins were produced. These coins were released into general circulation throughout the UK, and it is relatively easy to find them in circulated condition. The 2-pence coin is a part of the British decimal coinage, and as such, it was primarily used within the United Kingdom and its territories where British currency is used. It has also been seen in various overseas territories, such as Gibraltar, but the 1996 version would be mainly found in the UK. Uncirculated condition refers to a coin that has never been in circulation, meaning it has no signs of wear or handling. These coins are typically in near-perfect condition and are often kept in coin collectors' sets or mint packaging. Proof coins are specially minted for collectors, with a higher level of detail and a mirror-like finish. A 1996 2-pence proof coin would have been produced in much smaller numbers, usually as part of annual proof sets. The value of a proof 2-pence coin from 1996 can vary. In general, it could range between £10 to £30 depending on the condition, packaging, and whether it comes with a full set or not. A 1996 2-pence coin in circulated condition is worth its face value, 2 pence, about 2 pence. These coins are common in circulation and do not have significant numismatic value unless in exceptional condition or if part of a coin collection. An uncirculated 1996 2-pence coin can be worth slightly more, around £1 to £3 depending on demand and rarity in the market. The proof version of the 1996 2-pence coin could fetch a higher price, often between £10 and £30, depending on the quality, packaging, and whether it was part of a limited edition set. As mentioned earlier, over 350 million 2-pence coins were produced in 1996 for general circulation, making them one of the more common coins from this era. Mint marks. The 1996 2-pence coin does not have a mint mark because it was minted at the Royal Mint, which does not typically add mint marks to UK coins. Rarity. While the 1996 2-pence is quite common in circulation, proof versions are limited and can be more valuable. The 1996 2-pence coin is an important part of the British decimal currency system and reflects the long-standing history of British coinage. Its value is primarily based on its condition and whether it's part of a limited edition set or has been preserved as part of a collector's collection.